ja tervetuloa kanavalleni. Hello and welcome to my channel. Hei ja tervetuloa kanavalleni.
Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I got a new little light thing here that might help with my light. So I can turn it off, turn it on, change the color spectrum of it, and then let's go back to the warm one. You can change the intensity just by moving your finger up and down. And it's got this little light bar head, and this pivoting thing, and a USB charging port, 1 amp in the back. It doesn't come with the little brick, it just comes with a cord, so you have to have your own little, power conversion. But what I wanted to discuss today was the inexpensive buoys, the Pakistani ones, the Sezcos and stuff like that. A lot of people, or some people, will dismiss them, for various reasons. The heat treat, the steel, perhaps they didn't like the sheath, because they have gone through various iterations of these sheaths, and this one's a pretty good one, double stitched, but they did some other, less well-made ones and stuff like that. But what I wanted to say about that is, don't discount these knives. This is the one that fell, and just the hilt landed on my tongue. I still have a bruise, and it wasn't even out of the sheath, I just fell on my bare foot and bam, and it only fell from about 1.5 feet height. So, I mean, it didn't have to fall very far. And then I was looking at it, and it was starting to form patina, but it was also getting a little bit of rust here. So I was cleaning that up, and I thought, all right, let me just throw a little EDCI on there, everyday corrosion inhibitor. And it says you spray it on, and then you rub it in. And you've got to be very careful with a naked blade rubbing it in. So, back here where there's no edge, and I'm doing fine. And I get up here, and I'm going like this, and my finger just goes along the edge. And man, it dug in. Now this is no weight on the knife. This is just me polishing everything. It dug in and it hurt. I could feel it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad one, because it went in pretty deep, pretty quick. Now imagine this thing, if you're swinging it and you connect with flesh. It's going to do more than just a little digging in. So for what these things are originally designed for, this thing's gonna work perfectly. I wouldn't want to get hit by it. I mean, I just brushed the edge. Now, of course, I did sharpen this edge up. There's certain things you have to do. And I was thinking about putting a patina on this one, like the coal blue. Oh, wow. Look, we got more light. Yeah, that thing, you don't have to slide your finger. You can just touch, and say, hey, I want the intensity over here. And it goes and does that. But you got to watch that nothing else is on it. Also, this is something that you can throw around. If, let's say, you're out camping and you take this one along, and you're playing, chopping down trees or whatever you're doing with it, and you get ready to pack up, and the last thing you've done, you've been throwing it at a stump or something and stuck it in, and then something happened, you had to go back and do something else, and you forgot it and you left it there. You're out $20. Uh-oh, I'm out $20. If you had the case knife, you'd probably want to turn your car around and go back after it, because you're out at over $200, So these type of knives, although a lot of people disparage them and talk down about them and stuff and everything, are the most likely ones to be used. The most likely ones that you would have a memory from, because it's affordable. It's something that you can afford. Yeah, these, are like Grail knives and everything. They're highly polished, and, they're worth, to me, they're worth every penny of it. But not everybody's got $200. Almost, a lot more people got $20 than they got $200. And amount of fun and amount of utility and just looks and everything you get from one of these things, I think is worth $20. So if you're ever looking at knife reviews and somebody tells you, well, that thing's not heat treated to so-and-so, it's junk, it's just pure junk, you just wasted your money. Well, that's that person's opinion. That's why they don't have one of those. You know, you can file it with every other opinion. You can either place some validity to it or you can throw it in the trash like where usually it belongs. Okay, fine. You don't like these knives, or you don't like those kind of knives, fine. Opinion duly noted. Now, leave me alone. I'm trying to have fun over here, you know? That's your right to say that also. You don't have to believe everything everybody says. Now, if your entire family was killed by a tribe of wild Pakistanis, I could see how you might have an issue with Pakistani blades. But that doesn't mean that this knife did it, you know? So that's my defense of inexpensive knives. If somebody says, I don't like this knife because it's poor quality or whatever, well, fine. They don't have to buy it, you know? If you like it and you enjoy it, and as long as you know the limitations, as long as you don't get bamboozled, like if you think, all right, I've got to hear the best knife, you know, and everybody's like, cool, you know, what do you like about it? It's the best made knife in the world. Well, we may have a few disagreements about that, but as long as you like it, you know, fine. But if they try and say, this knife is made better than that knife, it might be possible, you know, but in this case, that's not the case. But as far as when my finger get cut, did it know it was a Pakistani blade? Did it know it was 12C, 27N, or true sharp stainless steel? No. And I tell you what, that thing cut just like any other sharp knife, man. It hurt. And it didn't go deep. It didn't take long. But it was a few seconds like, oh my God, what are you doing, you idiot? You know, because I ran my finger along the blade and that edge caught the flesh and said, oh, you want to cut something? So this knife has got me twice already. I mean, it likes me. I like it, but I understand, you know, you don't have to tell me anymore that you like me. I get it. I get it. It's cool, you know. You don't have to cut me or hurt me anymore. But yeah, you can have a lot of fun and you can get a lot of damage with one of these, you know, they call them Cisco. I call them Sesco buoys. Now, if you get addicted, like seems to happen with me, you'll start wanting more buoys, even if you've got, you know, like what might be considered top of the line buoy. You know, you might want equivalent ones like it and stuff like that. And then comes the, you know, the collecting phase. What I usually do on that is I watch other videos of people doing YouTube videos of Bowie knives, and I don't take any one opinion, you know, super high against all the others. I kind of take an average, you know. I look around and you know, somebody says, well, I got one of these and I hit it a few times and the handle wobbled, you know, and everything, and it got loose. It's a piece of crap, you know. Okay, maybe the guy didn't know how to tighten this up, you know. Maybe he didn't have one like that, you know. But I would try tightening that, and then also take into consideration what the people are doing that are using the Bowie knife and what you'll be using it for. I mean, if somebody gets in there and starts waylaying and chopping into a log, that's fine, you know. I mean, they're big, heavy knives, and people are going to chop. But if they start having issues with it later on, well, you know, if you bought a $20 knife and you're having issues with it, yeah, you know, you would think that a $200 knife would hold up better, and usually that's the case. I don't know about this. I haven't watched the Super Abuse one yet on the case Bowie, but all I'm saying is you don't have to go to the top scale. But if you get into something that you like, and you've been having, you know, like lesser quality knives or whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, you've been happy with $10 or $15 knives, and then all of a sudden something strikes you and you decide, I wonder what a $200 knife would be like. Well, as long as you realize that, as any other type of addiction, you're not necessarily going to be satisfied with a higher quality knife. I mean, you look at it, and it's always good to have something like that to compare, but the enjoyment might not of getting a $20 knife, the enjoyment of getting a $200 knife that basically does the same thing, same size, same look, maybe different steel and better materials, but basically, you know, the difference between a $20 canoe and a $200 canoe is usually fit and finish, but as far as like come down to it, what does it actually do? You know, cutting, your finger is not going to be able to notice the difference. But if you want to do that, that's fine. Just be aware you're not necessarily going to get more satisfaction out of getting a super duper knife. Now, with this, I can say that everything I just said before doesn't necessarily equate, because this knife still feels the best in hand. It's not exactly, I still like, you know, this Baron Son. It's a different design. Like somebody pointed out, this is like a copy of the Western W49, and this one is a kind of a copy of the V44. I like the balance of the V44. Now, a less expensive, not Western looking version of that, but it's still a Bowie, is the Ontario SP10. That's about like $70, I'd say, somewhere around there. So you're still getting into mid-range where you're still getting, you know, pretty good quality and everything. Yeah, you're usually going to have better materials, better handles and everything. But as far as like sheer fun and patterns that are not offered by everything, don't discount these inexpensive ones. Yeah, if the sheets, you know, is crap or whatever, copy the style, you know, or get something that was made for another one like it and replace it, you know. It's just a sheath. If you don't like the big S cross guard on here, shave it off. And you can make it just a double guard down here that still protects your hands, but it, you know, it's not quite as in the way, because you don't feel like you're going to get into a lot of hand-to-hand combat with your Bowie knife. It's really up to you. You can do whatever modifications you want, you know, to something like this. I've seen people take these handles off and drill them out and put bigger pins in there. It's all what you want to do. You basically personalize it and make it your own. And you're not out a lot of money if you screw up, you know, like I've never done a handle replacement before. And you find out you need a lot of tools and everything else. And when you finally do get around to it and everything, are you satisfied in the end, you know, with the results? Usually, it's not going to be as good as you thought it was in your mind, and it may take one or two times to get it right, but then when you do, it's something unique. You know, it's something special that you've made your own. I gotta watch where I was trying to find a place to put this guy. Now, I gotta watch it, because even, you know, these buoys will get you. So there you go. That's just another little update on Bowie knives. I still love them. You get on these phases, you know, where you want to, you get into things. And Toby said that another Bowie knife is coming in, is all I can tell you. There's going to be another Bowie knife coming in, comparable to these right here. Not as comparable to the Pakistani knives. So there, that was a little long-winded discussion on Bowie knives again. So, there we go. Tell me what you think about the lighting. I've got the other one as an indirect mode. Let me see if I can adjust this and let me pivot up without causing a big ruckus. I've got that one aimed as like an indirect up at the wall. And I've got this one hovering down here. It doesn't seem to be quite as bad, and we seem to have better illumination. And of course, I've got the light on the camera over here shining, so there you go. Sorry to take all your time. I might try a live stream in the middle of the night for people that are in another time zone. So just a chat, see what people are talking about and everything. But if not, just the way you can find out about live streams if you don't get a notification is just look under your subscriptions of people that you're subscribed to, and if a live is going on right there, it'll, instead of having a little dot by its name or something, it'll say live. And then also on the top of the YouTube search things up there, it'll say, search terms of things you've been looking at and everything. And then one of them, if you scroll over, a lot of times will be live, and it'll show you everything that's going live right then at that time. And sometimes you can find people that way. But anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.
Kiitos kun katsoit ja mukavaa päivää.